thank you so much to Squarespace for continuing to support my channel into 2025. Happy New Year, everyone. I hope you all had wonderful holidays. And as always, for me anyways, and probably for a lot of us, January is the month to really reassess the previous year and figure out some goals and some, just trajectories in terms of what to accomplish in 2025, what to focus on, and what to change. So I have come to some realizations about a week ago, and none of them are particularly new, and I just wanted to tell you guys about my thoughts on how my 2024 went and what I'm planning to do in 2025. And the main topic here, as you can see, is giving up. Basically, I'm honestly feeling very done with a lot of things after having assessed what 2024 was like and what I managed to accomplish and what I chose to focus on. So actually going into 25, like at the very end of 2024, around say October, November, I don't know, basically like November, December, I had some big plans. I thought that I knew what I was going to do differently in 2025 already because I kind of gave it a little bit of thought, and I was super excited about some new things that I wanted to try and these projects that I wanted to do. And I was riding on this wave of excitement for a couple of months, and especially through December, I was super stoked about January because I wanted to start a print and sticker club on Patreon, something that I've been wanting to do so badly for such a long time. And I already have the sticker design for the sticker portion of the club, obviously, and that is what you actually are looking at right here. It is another bookplate sticker design that, honestly, I love the sticker. I have not actually made it, but more on that later. I will eventually make this into a sticker and whatnot, and as you can probably tell by the way that I'm talking about this, is the print club / sticker club situation is not going to happen. I'm not going to do it. And honestly, I don't think I'm ever going to do this. And it astonishes me that I was so adamant on doing this for months and thinking about it and trying to plan it. It's completely delusional for me to have thought that I would be able to do something like that, because I think I just came to like a sudden realization that I have this chronic problem of pretending like things are less work than they actually are. So basically, about a week ago, when I was contemplating on what design I wanted to do for the postcard or mini print component of this brand new sticker print club that I was so excited to start. And by excited to start and planning, I mean like I went very much into the planning part of this. Like, I did a ton of research, I found manufacturers, I did all these charts comparing costs and doing all the math, and I even like ordered a bunch of materials that I needed to get it started. I had like a schedule plan, and I also realized that I really use planning as procrastination. This is something that is, I don't know, it's like, it's not that there's anything wrong with planning, and it's not like it's useless either, but sometimes I do have a tendency to get very, very much stuck on the planning part of things and just keep planning and replanning things over and over again, and I fail to just do it. Well, I was feeling like that with the sticker and postcard club, because I've been planning it for months, and I felt like this is it. It's a new year, sounds like a perfect time to start something like that. And then it's funny how the uselessness and the, I don't know, just complete and utter like blindness that I had about choosing yet another thing to focus on that has nothing to do with my comic. It didn't even dawn on me until a week ago when I already ordered a bunch of supplies and I was like this close to making social media posts. And thank the good Lord that I did not make any announcements about this officially, because that would have been really awkward to walk back on. But in any case, I do know that I've mentioned this before, and I'm sure that there were some people who definitely were into the idea and were excited about it. And I do feel like I have to apologize to those people, because I did mention it a bunch of times, but yeah, now I can definitively say that it's never going to happen, because it's stupid of me to even try to do something like this if I ever want to have a comic going and to just, release or complete the story, have any hope of finishing the story within my lifetime. At this point, is I realize that I just need to give this up. I need to give up on everything, like literally everything that ever comes to my mind that's some random sideline bullshit that I just keep doing over and over again for all these years. I need to give up. Like, I need to give all of this up, and I need to understand that that's the sacrifice that I need to make in order to actually work on this project that I keep proclaiming to be the most important in my life, because clearly it hasn't been the most important, because if it was, then I would actually work on it, and for some reason I just don't. And it's not even to say that I never work on it or anything. I do sometimes, but these sometimes short bursts or days that I dedicate to it are so insignificant in relation to the scope of the project, that at this rate, yeah, I'm just, it feels like, or it doesn't feel like, the fact of the matter is that unless I give everything else up, this is never gonna happen. It's just never gonna happen. So that is what I have realized. And there's basically some stuff that there's stuff that I want to expand on and tell you guys about. Before I get into it, let me just tell you real quick about this video's sponsor, Squarespace. Squarespace is the all-in-one platform to build a beautiful online presence for your business. I myself have been using Squarespace for my main portfolio website for years, and naturally when I was looking for places to host my original webcomic, Squarespace was my top contender, but I wasn't sure how things were going to go, because typically webcomics are hosted using blog-style websites, and there's been some complicated coding from what I heard. But I'm super happy to report that Squarespace was very easy. It was a total breeze. The freeform editor allowed me to create the landing page exactly how I wanted to, with custom button images and a parallax background and a logo as large as I want, which is very large, as you can see. So the backhand is very straightforward. Editing and posting new pages is super easy, and the fantastic thing is that I can always add a custom shop directly to the site in the future if I need to. I highly recommend using Squarespace. If you want to try it out for yourself and make a website portfolio or host your webcomic or anything, you can head over to squarespace.com and sign up for a free trial so you can test out all the amazing features. Once you're ready to launch your website, you can go to squarespace.com/cosmicspectrumart for 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. That's squarespace.com/cosmicspectrumart for 10% off. So yeah, just being super honest in this video, even YouTube to me feels like a pretty big distraction, and that's just the truth of the matter. Like, I don't like the fact that it feels like a distraction, but at the end of the day it is, because I just keep lying to myself month after month about how it's not a big deal, like I can do the videos quickly if I need to. And that is true. However, I always underestimate the amount of effort it takes to produce video. It is a lot of work, and I have to be realistic about how to manage or predict the amount of work that each month has in store for me. And yeah, the frustration is, I don't know, I feel like I've reached peak levels of frustration beforehand. This is not the first time, but I think this time every time I go through this really intense sort of reassessment of everything that I'm doing, it ends up having to be more and more drastic, because last time I was thinking about the things that I choose to dedicate my time to, I realized that, I gotta stop doing freelance for the most part and just do the solo thing. And I actually did. Yeah, I cut out 90% of the freelance stuff that I do. And I say no to things all the time. And I did focus more on my own stuff. But the problem is that wasn't enough. Like, it's not enough for me, apparently, to just cut out freelance. I actually have to cut out literally everything other than the comic. So I was sitting there, like, trying to work through these things by writing them down. And, my typical go-to, demented excuse for committing to all this stuff that's completely irrelevant is that it is related to the comic. It's like, if I do this sticker club, well, obviously it's the characters from the comic, and so therefore it's related. And honestly, that excuse, I've been writing on that excuse for a really long time, because sure, like, my art books are chock full of my characters from the comic, and so is everything else that I draw. It's all related to the comic. However, I just had to make a very simple rule, and that rule is, if I'm working on something that's not literally the comic, then it's not related to the comic. And that's it. Unless it is the literal comic pages or some necessary character designs or viz dev or whatever that's specifically for the comic, then it's not related to the comic. And that's a rule that I have to implement going forward. And it's frustrating to me, because I'm not even like one of those artists that doodle a lot of their characters and interactions. Like, I don't do any of that for some reason. I would like to, but at this time, I'm not allowed to, because that's just another thing that's not the comic and therefore is not related to the comic. You know what I mean? I don't understand exactly what happened to my just the things that I choose to do when it comes to my art related endeavors. And I think a large part of it is merchandising kind of took over to some degree. Not even to a large degree, I would say, because my merchandising game is quite weak compared to a lot of other people. And I don't do a huge variety of stuff. I don't try that many new things either. And I don't even do regular shop drops or anything like that. But somehow I still end up focusing all my attention on things that are somehow like related to the shop at the end of the day, like a new product here or there. And then even this whole thing with having a physical reward tier on Patreon and having this print and sticker club, like, man, I love the idea of that. I would love to do it, and it honestly kind of really bums me out that I can't. And that's what's so sad about this. It's just, it honestly is just a lot of work, and that's the reality of the situation. I think it would actually take me the entire month, from a month to month, just going month to month for the next year, to just do that. Because if I am a little bit more honest about how long things take, and the fact that I'm not some sort of automaton that can just work 24/7, yet it appears to me that it is about the amount of work to have like two YouTube videos and to run a physical tier for Patreon. Sounds like a whole months full of work every month. And yeah, it's not in the cards for me. And that's one of the reasons why I think I actually need to also give up on social media to some degree. Like, I think I actually just need to maybe quit Instagram for some time, or I don't know. Jury's out on that one. I'm not sure how to deal with this particular problem, but half the reason why I end up derailing myself all the time is because I get massive FOMO just from going on Instagram, because I follow so many artists that do this sticker club thing, and it looks so fun, and I love the creativity and the community aspect and just like everything. It drives me nuts, because every day I come across something that somebody else is doing that I also want to do, and it's really, really hard for me to ignore these things, because because of this tendency for me to pretend like everything is doable. Like, I just keep pretending like I can do all the things that I want and I can do anything I want. And, you know, it's like there is always two sides of the coin to these things. Like, it's really good to have that sort of belief in yourself on the one hand, of course, because some people have a lot of trouble even getting anything off the ground because they just don't have the same level of faith in their abilities or themselves or whatever. But on the other hand, having this unfounded faith in, like, that makes no sense, by the way, in the ability that you can do anything you want, you can do everything you want, is like, you know what, I think I'm gonna have to rein that in a little bit, because clearly it's not working. And I'm unable to do everything I want, obviously, as it appears. And I think my actual priorities end up suffering because of this all the time. And half of the reason why it's so hard to do all this stuff is that I'm also trying to make a lot of changes in my life, and form a lot of positive habits, like healthy habits, whatever, that are completely unrelated to art. And that is an entirely different battle that also takes a ton of time and ton of just mental energy, and I don't even want to go there, obviously, but that's something that I failed to take into account when I plan my art-related projects, because I just, for some reason, pretend like suddenly art is the only thing I ever do, which is not true. I do a lot of other stuff, and it's been very frustrating to come to these conclusions, and it really hurts to give these things up because I really want to do them, but I think it's just a sacrifice that I'm gonna have to make, because I think my frustrations about not having, like, just having stagnated completely with the comic progress is the biggest source of my frustration. Absolutely. Like, nothing is more annoying than that right now. So, unfortunately, the sticker and print club is gonna have to die. And that's okay. You know, that'll be fine. I'm just gonna have to ignore that, and for that reason, maybe take a little bit of a break from Instagram, which just keeps making me want to go in different directions. And yeah, I think this year I really want to focus on just being one-track minded, which is very, very alien to me. I've always been super partial to juggling things, and switching back and forth between things, even though sometimes I like to complain about how it's really annoying to have to switch back and forth between things. But the truth is that I actually enjoy that part of life, and I always have, and that is also another thing that I have to kind of admit. But it's not working for me, and I have to make some changes. And so, yeah, again, like I said, I'm just giving up on everything. Like, and one of the things I actually wanted to mention in this video too, talk about a little bit, is identity as an artist, and just how I think about it and how it affects the things that I end up doing. So some of the problems are like about identity as an artist, because I keep finding myself being utterly dissatisfied with my body of work as it appears, upon looking at visible sources. Like, by visible sources, I mean like my website, like my shop website, or my Instagram account, or the social media or whatever. Like, if I take a glance through any of these things, I just feel this very strong emotion that it is not a good representation of my work. And typically I just ignore it because, you know, whatever, I don't even know what that means exactly, but it's something that I kept coming back to. And then I asked myself a couple of times over the last year, like, okay, if you're so unhappy with what you see on your Instagram feed and you don't think that it's a good representation of your work, then what is a good representation of your work? Like, what is your work then? Like, what is it about the stuff that you do most of the time that is so dissatisfying? And I don't exactly know how to answer that, because it is very complicated. I am still proud of all the work that I do. I typically take every single illustration that I pump out very seriously, and I like looking at them. So I don't know exactly why I feel like it's not a good representation of my work, but the answer to the question that I asked myself, like what is a good representation of my work, is 100% the first or not the first chapter, the prologue to Gloaming Veil. Like that 100% I feel like is the best representation of my work. So then in light of that, I have to ask myself again, why is it that I keep avoiding the comic and working on all this other random stuff? So yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure, like I mentioned, but at least I'm going to make definitely a more organized effort to stop that and to just quit everything else and to focus on what I need to focus on. Because at this point, like, I actually did run out of excuses. Things that seemed like completely valid things before now are no longer valid because I don't have any of the same excuses. Like, I don't have financial issues. I don't need to hoard money. Like, I've solved that. So it's time to just focus and let go of clinging to all these excuses. So that's about it. Like, that's my goal going into 2025. And more specifically, I do want to focus on Patreon, because community and keeping in touch with people and just having a sense of belonging and having like a circle in just in general is a good thing, and that's something that I really like, and I want to preserve that. And I think Patreon is probably the most apt place to do that, because obviously everybody who's there, everyone, I really, really appreciate being there, by the way. Those are the people that make me have more faith in this project and give me the very necessary like boost of enthusiasm to keep going with it, I guess, is the best way I can put it right now. And I really, really appreciate that. And I feel like it's unfair that I don't put that much time towards Patreon. And it's not even like I want to turn Patreon into another project. Like, this is where it's so easy for me to kind of get lost with my thoughts and go and decide that the best way to show my appreciation is to do a sticker print club or something like that. Like, that's kind of actually how I even landed on that last time, at least part of the reason why. And yeah, it's misguided. Like, that's not what I want. I have to take into consideration what I want as well, and what I want is to just work on the comic. And I'll try my best to show my appreciation by just participating on Patreon more and just sharing more things with you guys. And I'm pretty sure that if I actually do this right and focus on the comic, I should have a lot more things to share behind the scenes, because these things do connect pretty well and they work hand in hand. And yeah, I just need to stop veering off to the side and doing random things that I can justify, but that still don't make any sense, no matter how well justified I think they are. And that's about it. That's I've been feeling kind of exasperated, and right now I have been actually working on the comic, and yeah, I dove right into that, and I have a bunch of new character designs that I've been working on, and I will start sharing that stuff on Patreon very soon. I still have to like fix my relationship with social media, because I tend to ghost it sometimes when I feel super frustrated, and this has been one of those times for the past few weeks, but I shall return shortly. And this design here is going to be a sticker eventually, but not yet. And I did close my shop in the meantime because another distraction. I just want to give myself a little bit of space to focus on the comic for a fair amount of time, like a couple of months at least, and then maybe I'll think about reintroducing a couple of things here and there. I will still be making YouTube videos because I have committed to that once again, but I'm not going to make them like a huge production or anything like that. So just wanted to let you guys know. Well, in that regard, it's probably going to be similar to what my videos were like in 2024. And I'll just be giving you updates on the project, and I will make more comic related videos, which makes sense to me. But yeah, it's good to get this off my chest, and it was annoying and it's hard to really think about things this way, but I am not an army of people, and I guess the final conclusion here is that yeah, I have to pretty much just give up on everything other than the comic. So that is all the news I have for this video, and thank you so much for continuing to follow my channel, and wish me luck to finally be making some actual progress with the comic, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!